You're listening to Women Infused Radio, where women in the marketplace connect with purpose and spirit, where the conversation covers all things women, business, and fascinating faith. And now, your host, Christy Lynn Olson.
Welcome to episode 21 of the Women Infused Radio podcast show. I'm so glad you're here and thank you for tuning in today. On today's show, I continue my interview series from our published book project, We Walk by Faith and Not by Sight, Women of Faith in the Marketplace. It's a 2-volume book series featuring 19 women of faith from around the United States who are walking out their unique assignment in the workplace. The books are available on Amazon.com, and we have a link in the show notes here so you can order your copies today. These women are all so accomplished in their respective fields, yet they have struggles just like you and I as they strive to be salt and light, integrating biblical and spiritual principles into their work environments with grace and truth. I've been learning so much from each of these women, and I want to share something special with you. The complete, uncut, full-length interviews are available exclusively on the Women Infused Network Broadcast app, which you can download for free for Apple and Android. Just go to womeninfusedapp.com, there's a link in the show notes, or your favorite app store. We'd love for you to join our community of spirit and purpose-filled women of faith, where you will find relevant VIP broadcasts in the areas of faith, lifestyle, and work, plus a free Bible app and study tools that will help you dig deeper into God's Word for yourself. When you download the app, just register and log in. Search for the Women Infused podcast channel, and you will be able to download your free copy of our bonus devotional ebook, Love Notes of Encouragement for Women of Faith in the Marketplace. This is our free gift to you. In it, you will find more words of wisdom from the co-authors of our book series, plus a space to journal and pray over each specific topic mentioned by the author. We pray that this ebook will bless you, inspire you, and encourage you in your journey of faith as you walk out your unique assignment in the marketplace. Today, my guest on the show is Nickquolette Barrett. Nickquolette has been married for almost 23 years to a senior pastor who has pastored all of those 23 years of their marriage. They have a beautiful teenage daughter, an adult son, and a dog named Bam Bam. On the professional side, she's worked in corporate America for over 25 years, with over 15 years in various leadership capacities in operations, marketing, and as a corporate trainer. She is also the proud owner and founder of Resumes, a premier career development company specializing in resumes, LinkedIn branding, interview prep, and career management. She is passionate about helping serious career professionals understand they are more than just an employee, and that they are in fact their own corporation, their own brand, and their own CEO. And she works to change the mindset from employee to business owner within the structure of corporate America. You can find a link to her website, irockresumes.com, right here in the show notes. Now let's listen in to my interview now with Nickquolette Barrett. Well, today I want to welcome Nickquolette, and Nickquolette Barrett is one of the most phenomenal women I have met so far on this journey. She is working full-time in a corporate position. She is a full-time pastor's wife. She also has an entrepreneurial side to her. She has a new business that she's gone with a couple years. And the exciting thing for me is I read her brief little intro that said she's been married for 23 years to a senior pastor and has a beautiful teenage daughter, adult son, and my favorite, a dog named Bam Bam. So welcome, Nickquolette, to our show.
Thank you so much for having me. Great introduction, and I love my little doggy Bam Bam.
Oh, I bet. What kind of a dog is Bam Bam?
He is a Shih Tzu mixed with Poodle, and he is just adorable.
Oh my gosh. I know we have a little dog and there are babies, so our kids get older and then we have these little babies. So when I read that name, I just pictured this little perfectly lovely family with their dog Bam Bam. So I'm so excited to have you here and to maybe see pictures someday of Bam Bam. So.
Yes.
One thing with your experience, now you've been in the corporate world for over 25 years in a lot of different leadership positions, and then you've owned and founded this company on the side working with career development. And the thing that I loved when I heard about this is that you help professionals understand they're more than just an employee and their own brand, and that they are their own CEO. What kind of things do women in the marketplace need to remember about being their own CEO, and that they do have a brand even if they are employed by someone else?
Oh, well, what I try to make sure that I teach and express is that you actually own your own career, and you also own your own development, and you own your own brand. Once you accept the fact that you are in control of that and you own it, then you don't have to feel like your career is being dictated and led by someone else. Circumstances, layoffs, the economy, or what have you. You can still develop your own brand, your own self, and actually your own company, meaning a company of me incorporated, and then make sure that you have all of the skills that you need that are transferable to any opportunity. So when something unfortunate happens, such as a layoff or reorganization, or you're being told that you no longer can do this job, but now you have to do this job and you don't want to do that job, you can actually say, okay, what kind of skills do I have? What kind of talents do I have? And where can I take that? And you can take that anywhere. So when you treat yourself as your own company, you can market yourself to any other company out there that you want to go to. And being able to understand and own that empowers women and gives them a lot of confidence to say, you know what? I do have what it takes to do more than just this particular job, or be, I guess, under the gun with this company telling me what I have to do, and then indeed do what I want to do.
And that is so important. I love when you said we are the company of me. And if we remember that is empowering. And especially today, I mean, it used to be years and years ago, you worked at a company and you retired at that same company. And sometimes that is still true today, but more so than not, I think people find themselves in 3, 4, 5, maybe even more different positions in a lifetime. And so they have to learn how to make their skills transferable. That's what I hear you saying.
Exactly, because you never know. In the economy today, companies are looking to maximize their profit, maximize what they can get out of their employees. So they may pay you a certain wage, hire you at a certain level of duties, but then because, the economy, they don't want to hire anybody else, they may add additional duties onto you, or say, you know what, we don't even need your position anymore. Then where are you? So that means that you're too engaged with the actual company itself, and you need to separate yourself from the actual company that is your employer, and see yourself as your own company, so that you can make sure you're packaged properly at every step of the way. And always be prepared. It's always better to be prepared ahead of time than all of a sudden something happening and then it's a crisis. And in that crisis, the preparation can be jagged. It can be in a desperate mode and really not clear.
That's great advice. And what you're really doing is teaching women to rely on the strengths and the gifts that they have, as opposed to what someone puts in their job description. Because
exactly.
Yes, and I love the fact that we all have different strengths. And I know I asked you before if you had taken the Strength Finder 2.0, and that's one of my favorite assessments. And you came up with your top strengths are relator, strategic, connectedness, communicator, and arranger. And tell us, if you can, what strength has helped you the most, do you think, kind of navigate your career? Maybe it's more than one, but if you had to pick one or two of those, where do you think your strengths have helped you the most?
I would say the first one will be strategic. And it's so funny that being a strategic person, I never really saw myself as that. And one of my former leaders in another role identified that in me. He said, you know what, you have a very strategic mind, because I have the ability to see a situation and not see it as it is, but what it could be, and also make sure that it happens. I don't see, we can't reach that goal. We can't do this. I look at it and say, no, this is what we could do. do X, Y, Z, then we could do this. And then if we break this down. So he said, you know what, you really have a strategic mind. And being a young leadership professional, that was very empowering to me. That a male will tell me that and really identify that in me as a woman, because we're not necessarily seen as that. We're more seen as the arranger, as the relator, and as the connector. But so for me to have a strength as a strategy person, I really own that, and I have really managed my career according to that. And then I'm able now to teach that to my clients, which is very, very empowering. And then I guess the one that will go behind that is because I am strategic, I am a very good relator as well. So I'm able to get things done by the relationships that I build. And when I build those relationships, my strategy comes to life, and all my goals get achieved. So I would say those are my two strongest.
That's great. And how have you enjoyed the entrepreneurial journey so far? I mean, has it been challenging to you in any respects, or what has been the most fun part?
Well, it has been both fun and challenging. And the fun part about it is that I never set out to actually be an entrepreneur. I always used to joke with my husband, I'm going to be an entrepreneur one day. I just don't know what. So I always talk to him about these crazy ideas I would come up with, really inventions. And then he's like, I don't think that will work. and I end up falling into this entrepreneurship because of some major changes going at the corporation that I'm at, and because of the actual changes, I was responsible as a leader is in corporate America, developing your employees, making sure they get positioned to not lose a job, but actually gain a job. So I was always very good at doing that throughout my career and throughout the different states I worked in and also departments. So I made sure that I got all of my people prepared. And with me being able to get my whole team prepared, I actually got my whole entire team promoted. And two of my people were promoted into $14,000 increase in their pay into those types of roles. So it's like, you know what? I have these skills. I've always had these skills. Let me see, who will really need it. And my two employees said, Miss Nickquolette, you really need to do this as a business. I said, you know what? I've been sitting on this forever. Instead of me doing these cockamamie inventions I'm trying to do, use my own talent and my skills to birth an actual business. So that's the fun part of it, actually seeing that people respond and actually need what I do. So I put the blurb out on Facebook, and all of a sudden I started getting inbox requests to actually for me to help them with their resumes and interview and all that kind of stuff. So it actually grew based on Facebook. And the challenge has been is, of course, oh my gosh, okay, now that I'm doing the resume part, I'm doing the interview prep, how can I expand and what else can I do? Because my customers would actually ask for additional items or additional things, career development, career strategy. So I'm like, I'm already doing it, so let me just do it and market those skills out into the marketplace. So being able to make sure that I'm servicing my customers as well as doing the job I need to do as my angel investor, being in corporate America, to be able to fund my venture to do the iRock resume. So being able to balance those are sometimes challenging, but I found calendaring systems. Calendly is my best friend.
Yay, I love Calendly. I'm glad someone else likes it.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that has really helped me. And again, some other different tools like Asana has helped me as well. So being very organized. So that's keeping on top of that and being able to service my customers. It's always a challenge, but I'm up for the challenge, and I use those tools to my benefit.
That is great advice, and I'm going to write down those tools and make sure we put them in our show notes, because I think that sometimes women just need a few tools. But I hear you playing to your strengths, and definitely the strategic piece is going to come through and all of that. And the other thing I hear you saying is you want to be of service to your clients. And so that always makes me think of, how do we as women of faith in the marketplace follow this path of servant leadership? Can you tell us a little bit more about, why is it so important to be a servant leader, and how has that impacted your work environment?
Well, being a servant leader, and I started doing this a long time ago before it became very popular in corporate lingo, because I found, because of my relational skills that I have, being able to listen to people, undergird them with and support them with their own personal, ideas and things that they're going through in their families or what have you, and just listening to them and engaging with them as a person and not as a worker bee that I need you to do this to get the results I need. Because I'm able to do that and serve them from that perspective, I find that they in turn serve me to make sure that I reach my goals. So it's that serving, basically going back and forth. I serve you, make sure have what you need so you can be successful in your role. And then in turn, that success would automatically make me successful in my role because they are doing their best job because they have a leader that's supporting them. And that's in the corporate world. And when it goes over into my business, what I do, I empower and I encourage. And I tell them that you have everything inside of you need to make that next move, whether you've been laid off and you feel devastated by that, or something's going on at the current job that you're in now that you're ready to leave. You have whatever it takes. And I'm going to make sure that your marketing document tells your career story so powerfully that you're able to walk into your next opportunity with no issue. And every time I'm done with one of my clients, I always tell them I'm adding you to my prayer list. And when I'm praying for you to make sure that you get your next role and that you're going to be happy in that next role and your life will get back on track. I'm always praying. So I serve them by making sure I give them the best service that I possibly can, being available to them, answering their question, and empowering them with not only my encouraging words, but also through prayer.
And prayer is, we all know we're supposed to pray, but I think sometimes in the midst of a busy workday, we kind of forget that praying for those that we're serving is probably should be first and foremost on our list. But it sounds like it kind of comes naturally to you now. It's who you are. You can't separate that. And it's just integrated into your whole walk. Would that be a true statement?
Yeah, that's a very true statement because I never understood how it could be separate. I am not one way at work and a different way outside of work and a different way on Sunday. I am the same person regardless. You get what you get. When you see me, it is what it is. And
Right.
I have, all right, so I've always been that type of person. And the people are drawn to that. And then and if I have that open opportunity, even in the workplace, say, I'm going to pray for you, and they are accepting of that, I will do that. And I will add them to my prayer list. Or sometimes I have taken people into a room and we've prayed at that moment. And so, and that's just who I am. And it still allows me to be successful as a corporate leader and do my job without it impacting or causing any type of friction in the workplace.
And that's so important. So some people are coming to you and asking you for advice, or you're able to go into a room and pray for them. It's one thing if people ask you, have you ever been in a situation where they have not asked for that counsel, but you're certainly, as a spiritual being, aware that there's something going on, and you probably just instantly offer to pray for them. But how has that opened doors for further conversations, maybe with someone who's not a believer or someone who isn't really sure what they believe?
Yes, it has. And you know what it does is, even if those are not necessarily totally believers and active in church, the fact that they hear the word prayer and that I'm going to do that, they believe it from my heart. And so it's easy for them to accept it because it's from where the place is coming from within my heart. And so there, those barriers and walls are put up. Oh, no, we're in the workplace, so I'm here. You say that I'm going to report you or what have you. That doesn't happen because they know it's coming from my pure heart. And I can do it in such a way and pray for them in such a way that they don't feel like they're being beat up over the head with the Bible. But it's also an encouragement to let them know that there's help out there and someone greater than who we are that can actually help them if they so choose. And so that's what I try to do to make sure that they're seeing my heart and it's coming from my heart. And when I lead from my heart, it is received into the heart.
What about gossip? And you mentioned this briefly in the book, and it kind of caught my eye because I thought, everyone loves water cooler gossip, and it's so easy to fall into that trap. How have you kind of kept yourself away from that, whether it's a specific situation or just in general? But gossip can tear people down. And so how have you dealt with that as a woman in the workplace?
Well, I try not to. I work hard not to be judgmental on anybody. So if someone comes to me with some stuff, and I have to actually talk about one of my best friends who's also a Christian that works here at the same company. We preface it, okay, only the facts We will not go over into gossip. If it's not something you know for sure, don't talk about it. So we will
Mm-hmm.
always preface that just the facts, not gossip. And that's it, because you don't want to get caught up in speculation and tearing
Mm-hmm.
somebody down with an assumption. Because when it happens to you, you don't want that to happen to anyone else. And with it happening, unfortunately, to some colleagues of mine here at the job, I didn't want to pass judgment on them because I know them to be Christian women. And unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
something happened that steered them away from being, in a good situation. And, we all stumble. Nobody's perfect. And so I didn't want to know about the gossip. I didn't even care about the gossip. I said, nope, I don't want to hear it because I know these people and I know they're good people. And all I did was just offered my prayers to that. And I try to guard myself against that, and I've deflected and just try. I don't even welcome it into my environment because I have too many things going on to welcome that in my environment. So once people know who you are and your character, you're either going to be the drawer of that gossip or a deflector of that gossip. And I have been one to be a deflector. So to be honest, it don't even come to me. It rarely comes my way. And if it does, and somebody don't know, they'll know it. That's the first and last time they bring it to me. So I,
Yes.
I, I just don't tolerate that because we all fall and we all have to pick ourselves up. And God is the best person to help us do that.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing that because I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. We all fall and we can all sit in judgment, but they always say when you point the finger at someone else, you've got what, 3 or 4 fingers pointing back at you. You know, we have to be really
Yes.
careful of what we're saying and what we're listening to. And so I think for some women, sometimes they have to set those parameters like you did, saying we're just going to talk about the facts. Anything after that, we have to be quiet. So I think you've set systems in place. It sounds like that what you stand for, what you won't stand for, and that has worked for you. So that's great advice. You know, part of being a woman of faith in the marketplace also means we have a lot of things we have to do, a lot of expectations, and we have to structure our time in a way that we don't lose ourselves in the process. And that's one of the questions that we ask in the book. And I remember you remarked that being a senior pastor's wife, not only are you working in the marketplace, but you feel like these expectations and assumptions of the church can also weigh heavy on a pastor's wife. So how have you kind of navigated that, and how have you chosen to be active in church and also set up boundaries?
I have a great supportive husband, and he has been one to say, you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do, meaning setting the stage and not allowing the membership to come to me and ask me to do things that are too overwhelming. Because although the member may be asking, they don't realize that there were 10 others that came and asked me to do something as well. So if
Right.
they were aware that there's like 10 to 15 people coming at me, asking me to do different things, they probably would step back and reserve that. So he's been very protective of me in that, knowing that, he would make mention, and my wife is, working, she has this, and of course, I have the child, all of these different things. So he has been a great supporter of that. So I wouldn't really have to say much, but what I can do is pick and choose the things that I can do because, of course, I want to be active. I want to be supportive. So I do it in a way that it's not overly stressing me out, that I'm pulling my hair out. Now, that has
Mm-hmm.
been a long time coming. When I was
Yes.
a young pastor's wife with a brand new child and really didn't understand how to balance that because I was still doing ministry at the peak. Everything,
Mm-hmm.
because I was, it was just my husband and I didn't have a responsibility at home. So I could do a whole lot of other things. So it was great. But then I was
Mm-hmm.
still trying to do all those things and work full time and take care of a brand new baby. And that began to weigh on me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is too much. And then I had to step back and realize it. And with my husband's help to say, you don't still have to do all that stuff right now because you have,
Mm-hmm.
the baby. And if down the road you want to get back involved in some things, go ahead and do that. So that was really helpful for me to kind of reorganize myself in time to really focus on the family, this new life that we brought into this world. And then once life gets a little bit less hectic, get back into ministry heavy when I can, or bringing in bits and pieces, and not to the level I was doing it when it was just my husband and I, just free and fancy. We could do whatever we want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those were the days, right?
Yes.
So, it sounds like you kind of have this great, now you're in this groove and you understand what balance looks like. A few years ago, a woman by the name of Sheryl Sandberg wrote a book, and you're probably familiar with it, called Lean In. And it brought up this whole conversation about, can women do it all? What would you say to a woman who is struggling right now, trying to do it all and just feeling like she's dropping all of her spinning plates or dropping the ball at everything? What advice would you give her?
I would tell her to drop them. Drop all the balls. Drop the balls. Step back, put in some self-care, and then think about, what is it that I truly want to do?
Hey, it's Christy again. That was just one part of my interview with Nickquolette. To hear the full interview, where we talk more about new opportunities, work that's challenged her faith, values, and career, and struggles she's faced along the way, and how she pushed through them with no regrets. But you need to download the Women Infused app, where you will find full-length interviews from all of our co-authors and exclusive bonus materials to help you walk out your own journey of faith in the marketplace. You can download the free Women Infused app at womeninfusedapp.com. Link is here in the show notes, or just go to your favorite app store. When you download the app on your mobile device, just register to log on and then go to the channel icon on the bottom of your screen on the app. There you will find the Women Infused podcast channel, where you can click and find Nickquolette's full interview, episode 21. You can also get your free copy of the ebook, Love Notes of Encouragement for Women of Faith in the Marketplace. There is a link to the free ebook devotional when you click on episode 21. Could you do me a favor too? Tell all your friends to download the Women Infused app at womeninfusedapp.com. Our vision is to reach 1 million women for Christ with faith teachings, lifestyle information, and practical business and leadership principles for women of faith. And if you know anyone who you think would like to have their own broadcast channel on our network, please have them contact me by email, Christy@ChristyLynnOlson.com. I'd love to chat with them about it. Goodbye for now, and remember, alone you are significant, but together we are amazing.
This has been Women Infused Radio, connecting women around the globe with purpose and spirit. And we want to connect with you. Get your free gift, Unveiled Voices, 6 things you need to do to define your value, voice, and vision. For more information on the free gift and links to join the conversation on social media, visit us at ChristyLynnOlson.com.